Scorpio, how you guys getting on? So we're going to go through your reading. It's for July. I do apologise, but it is extremely hot and sweltering in the UK at the moment. And it's extremely prickly, just like you can't breathe, So it might even be a message for you, can't breathe. Because you do have, sorry, but it really is hot here in the UK. And I can't put my fan on because it blows the cards probably, and I just can't, but it is. But you might feel like you can't breathe or they can't breathe, but holding on well, okay. So we're going to go into the deck in a bit. We'll see how this tallies up first. But yeah, let's see. So Scorpio, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus. Three of Swords. So the first card out. So normally means about the past. Always pretty much means through the past. So through the past, heartache can mean literally anything. It can mean a third party situation. It can mean parts of growth and learning. It can mean mind games, manipulation, evilness. It literally can mean anything, the Three of Swords, because it hurts your feelings, but your feelings are created by the mind. Now gonna have to go over this. Your feelings are created by your mind, okay? So it's a lot of mind stuff because obviously it's swords, okay? So it's not really that, it is your feelings that get hurt, but it's pretty much how we communicate with one another and how things happen in life in general when we realise that things actually need release. Because this is like a holding on. It's like I'm holding on for dear life and I will not let go of my thoughts, feelings. But it's kind of saying that there needs to be that because this is like an ending in a way because it's the Three of Swords. You know, because if you was to get absolutely hurt and wounded, it depends what it is, but if it's in a partnership and a relationship and it relates to that, it means that something needs release within the heart, but not the heart, but the mind. It means that something needs to be let go of, okay? Now, it can mean a third party situation, it can mean betrayal, but because what you do have under the deck, hope you can see this, under the deck, you do have the Four of Pentacles, right, which can be good for work, and we can go over that in a moment, which is like holding on to certain things and building and saving and creating. But that can be like a power kind of struggle to actually understanding about release and letting go, and to letting go of fear, letting go of a person, letting go of a thought, a feeling, letting go of the notion of well, a person. If you are indicative with a third party situation, because it is a 3 and it's the first one out, it always would mean pretty much to me that there would be an ending, because your true partner or person, there wouldn't be, because you've got fast action and communication of messages that can be cutting, right, cutting, or messages. But you do have the Five of Swords, which relates to, that can mean mind games, manipulation. It can, because it's fighting. It's a fighting and a struggle and a balance of where you probably can't breathe. It's probably a message where you can't breathe, right? Because of because of a message that you found out or that you are doing. It can mean traveling also, maybe. You've got traveling here, judgment that needs to be made. There needs to be a judgment call on it. But you do have the Ten of Cups floating up also. But we'll see how these tally up through this, because I don't want this to be a bad reading for people. But there is a lot of sword energy, I must admit. If we go from this, which is the 5, which is the 8, it means that the 8s always talk about listening to the universe and listening to the higher mind and realizing that there needs to be a lot of release and letting go, because there's an entrapment feeling, because that would be the 8 of Swords, okay? And that does relate a lot to me as Scorpio. Also Cancer, but any air sign kind of quality also. But there needs to be because of entrapment, it means I'm stuck somewhere, so I need to move or I need to go. So there is I need to go, but it might cause an argument with people. If it's to do with love life and it's the partnership that you're in, there's some kind of toxic kind of thing that might be going on because of holding on and release and not letting go of anything, which means I'm not prepared to let go of anything. But there needs to be a judgment on it for this Ten of Cups to start playing out in a positive manner, because there can be some kind of depression that might be indicative in the bottom of the deck. But generally, this can be someone that's wise also, it can be someone that's very intelligent. It might mean intellect, but it can mean a lot to do with where people will use their intellect to get back at people, which is not a very good idea also for karma of what goes around comes around, because you've got a cycle that happens here that seems to be playing out maybe within the mind for some people, or within there where it's kind of like, wow, this is just like always happening, you know. But there needs to be a judgment on that and some kind of release through the way that you communicate with people. Or this might even be how people are communicating with you, and you might be like, you know what, I'm just fucking sick of it, Sid, and I'm just done and I'm out, you know. I don't need people telling me what to do, or like I have my own path, but in a good way. Like my own path is my own path, and I need to use my intellect now than what I actually need to use listening to other people. And then what I do is when I listen to myself, we end karmic cycles and we end patterns in our life, and then we move. But it can be like traveling, but it can literally mean ending a complete and utter world pattern, but that would mean like a karmic cycle, you know, a karmic cycle with the person that you could have been indicadent with, because there could have been a judgment call made upon it, where you could have returned to someone or they could have returned to you, and then you both leave obviously amicably. Or if you can't, then, you know, it just forms a codependency, and that's not a very good form to have, because what you need is release and attachment. So there might be some kind of message that you might need to give to somebody, or they give you, or if not, and this is just released, then this is just someone that's going, where it's going around and around in their mind, because it's like a cycle of like going around and around in my mind, that can create a lot through narcissism of, I mean, I always stick with that because it is so true. You do get spiritual narcissism, which is a karmic chrysalis, which means that it's not meant to be. Because what you do is you ascend onto the path that you're supposed to go on to end up meeting the person that you're supposed to be with. And this is you or them. But you will always ascend to a higher level, whichever way you go, because your life expectancy will still pull you in a direction of where you're supposed to go. But it's a journey that you're supposed to also go on, like alone. But a lot of messages also, a lot of traveling, Virgo, and a lot of healing. It can mean some depression for certain people. But we will see how this tallies up. But it was important that we had that. So the Three of Swords, so that's letting go, release, letting go of anything that's created some kind of pattern within someone's mind. Because this, regardless, this is a heart, but it would mean like, heart, I just die in your arms tonight. But it means that it's like, sorry, that is the song, meaning like death, you know, like someone could have lost somebody. Somebody could have lost somebody because it like either died maybe or passed on. You know, I do apologise if that's happened. Or it can mean that like you've lost somebody and there's been a rebirth in the situation and you're going to continue on with the same path. Or there has been a complete ending, you know, and it's like a rebirth situation of going on to a new path. Okay. Whoa, dear. What is going on, Scorpio? So you've got something that needs leaving behind, because this is okay, Steve goes into it again. This is obviously my narcissistic card. It is, because it's PTSD. This is like someone that's either suffering through trauma, but this can be like long time wounding and scarring, like, because it's like PTSD. It's like, well, what the fuck, I've got no idea what to do now. No idea. But it's also like parts of like war where it relate to so like stubbornness of just like, well, I'm just going to give it one more go, whatever. I can never reach an ending. I can never just reach an ending because I'm still going through it. You know, still going through it. But, you know, you've got a lot of sword energy and a lot of like PTSD trauma. There really is. Trauma. It's like internal wounding of like mind, body, soul stuff. Oh, wow, there you go. Scorpio, what's going on? What's going on, bruv? See, I hate doing readings like this, man. Hate doing readings like this. This is the like complete and utter like mind, body, soul. This is mind, this is body, and this is soul. This is dark night of the soul that someone's going through. Like dark night of the soul. Dark night of like actions and past reactions, counter reactions, offensive, defensive, because that's 9, you know. The 9 of Swords would mean like the dark night of the soul mentally, but you've got like dark night of the soul like physically, mentally, and like also where it's the 3, where it is still like a 9, because it's like, you know, past actions and all that kind of stuff, the lessons are also still in both of these cards, where it's like, you know, it's loss, where it's like a lose-lose battle. This is like fighting a battle of war, right? War, greed, poverty, all that kind of stuff. 7 deadly sins and whatever. 9, right? But you've kind of got that same feeling, because it's like all parts of the mind. I forget what message is always coming in now. War, like war. So it's like it can be like a stubborn energy around you of like, where it's just continued to do the same thing of just like holding on to, because this is like blame and shame, like shame on you, you know, this kind of thing, you know, like shame on, because it can, because people like bow their heads in shame. It's like shameful energy, but because it's not shameful, it's like it is, but it's not, because you've also got the 5 of Swords, where it's like a lot of like around and around and around and around, like I'll continue to do this like for a long time, because someone's suffering through a lot of PTSD and trauma, like traumatic stuff, you know, like loss. Like this could literally be like a loss, like if it is relating to like death, then this is like a loss of somebody, someone suffering from, whoa, okay, like a loss of a child. Some of you, it's like a loss of a child, or either a parent, a child, or brother, mother, sister, you know, anybody. But it can be for some people like a child, like the loss of a child. That's very strange energy. I don't like giving over these kind of messages. Someone is suffering through the loss of a child, but the loss of like the loss of everything at the moment, because this is a lot of mind, like mind control. It really is, because this is like over analyzing and overthinking and over like communicating, but over spying, or over like digging for information and needing to find out more and more and more. But it's just leading on to this pattern where it seems to be forming, where someone could be like over analyzing everything and over like communicating, like, but not communicating. It's like, well, I just need to keep finding out more, need to keep finding out more, and then it's just like leaving me in this pattern of just like the dark night of the soul, but then the dark night of the soul of actions, past sorry, thank you, Spirit, like actions, counter-reactions. You know, the Nine of Swords would talk about the dark night of the soul mentally, okay? But this is like all counter-reactions, actions, and codependency and counterdependency. It's very important. I learned about that quite a while ago when I was studying through, I was doing metaphysics and stuff, but I was also studying through, you know, control and narcissism, because it was a very important part of these twin flame soulmate relationships that people are going through. You know, we have spiritual narcissism. We do, and it's what I hear spiritually. You know, these are like dark passengers that follow you from time to timeline, and it's an attachment. It attaches itself to you like people, like we can call like a leech. It drains the fuck out of you, it drains the life out of you, and it means that there needs to be a release. So please take this out of the word of like, if someone's lost someone, we're not talking about that at the moment, you know. But, you know, emotional loss and physical loss, you can play out these parts in life of spiritual wounding and healing, like for a long time. You can go through this many a time, because there's a lot of emotional wounding and scarring that someone's gone through or going through. But because it's relating to a lot of mind, you see, if you are got an attachment of a spiritual narcissist, this can be like dark energy around you also. So please make sure you do a lot of clearing, like your house and places that you are. Make sure that all, you know, everything's clean and everything's like, you do sage and all that kind of stuff, because you can contract energy that can like drain your energy, right? Because you can have also, when you deal with like clientele, that kind of thing, that you need to make sure your energy's clear, and that you do like meditation work and all that kind of thing in order to bring, because it's still, people say, well, you need to raise your vibration, right? And this is like your feelings of vibration of like, yeah, but your vibration and your vitality of life is everything. It's not. It's not your vibration of your body that brings in an attraction of something. It's not, because it's part of like ego, right? Ego, because this is all parts of the ego. So it's the mind that creates all that. Like, what's an attraction of things is where your head is what gives off all the beacons of light that go through fucking loads of different parts of your head, and it goes through this way, this way, this way, and it goes straight through your third eye and everything like that. Okay, and then it's like blockages where it's just like blocked. Someone's just like completely blocked out. So it's, you know, you can contract energy because you need to release that energy. It's not your vibration and vitality of life that draws in people. It's your vitality in the way, the person that you are, that retracts people through an action, past reaction, and a codependency and a counter-dependency. Counter-dependency and dependency is obviously a lot to do with childhood wounding and childhood relations of where things have been very like regimented. This is like regimented, you know, very structured, like this is this way, this is this way, you know. This can be like very regimented. This is this way, this is this way, this is the way it has to go, and you have to follow me, follow me, follow me, follow me, right? And because it's not this is a lot of this, sorry, but I'm sweating because it really is hot. This is a lot to do with someone's past that they've learnt through counter reactions, like I've gone over, counter reactions, codependency and counter dependency. It's how we react and counter react with people, right? That leads to a dependency of an attachment of not wanting to be left at all, ever. This is like, well, just, I need you to just stay here, you know, because I'm reliant, because it's like forming a reliance, you know, forming a reliance. So, I mean, this can be family as well. This is like literally, or your work, or that if you're at work and you're like, fuck it, it's just too much, or where I am at home, or anything like that. There needs to be like a different approach to your mannerisms of your also communication, because your communication at the moment is not sometimes coming from a great space, you know, not for a great space. And this can be people that are around you that are stopping you also, you see. So if you're saying, well, Steve, I'm not in the Five of Cups energy and I don't feel depressed and I actually feel really happy, then this is people that are around you, you know, family members, you know. Because it's someone that has literally just lost somebody, like a child or a person, or God, or like everybody, because you've got the Three of Swords. You know, through the Three of Swords being the first card out, that's like also like the lesson of meaning like there was a third party, but now like either everybody's gone and now I'm like dependent and codependent and like lost, or like, let's see, oh dear, you see you've got the Three of Cups. It really is ringing out of a third party situation, Scorpio. You've got the Five of Cups, right? Which is then the Three, which means travel, and you've also got travel, and you also got like concentrating on losses and gains, so making sure that you always concentrate on more of what you've gained through the experience than what you've lost through the experience. An experience of anything can also relate to town, province, city, travelling, because you have got travelling and like the world and stuff like that. Right, so it can mean that you always need to concentrate on yourself, of your experience of what you have to do for yourself, okay? To be responsible, to be reliant on yourself, meaning that it doesn't matter who it is in life, okay? You have your experience to fulfill and play out for your own souls of what it was wrote. Your soul will have a path that it is wrote within destiny for it to experience, okay? Everything that you experience from then on is all parts of the ego and the mind. Everything. It's all created by that, okay? That hinders your process if we don't start to understand as a soul that we have to go forward on that path because it's written for us anyway. So when we can learn that kind of dependency, codependency, because this can be like mother kind of stuff also, like mother or father kind of thing, you know, or children. But when we learn that, we realize that the easier it is to let go of things and let go of the fear and let go of the anxiety and let go of the panic and the worry, okay, that people have their own path in their life. And when you can give over control to your soul of knowing that it's here for an experience and that you'll just follow it in that path, okay, that path will take you on to many great lessons of yourself because you are following a call, which is call to action, okay, because there could be a need for call to action for some people, like a call to action. This can be like a call to action, like seeking out like counselling for that kind of stuff, you know, counselling. It would be counselling, like trauma counselling for loss or like loss of children, or like a bereavement. What do they call it? Bereavement, you know, because there needs to be, like I said, you need to follow your calling, of the calling that it is that your soul. And these are soul groups, you see. So when this card comes up, this is to do with your family, your people, your love interest, your work, everything. Some of it seems to be where it's saying that there needs to be, like you need to leave something behind. You need to, because this is leaving something behind, you see. It is. It doesn't matter what it is. This is why I never pertain it just to your love relationship at the moment. It's more to do with everything. There's something that needs leaving behind in order for you to find the person that you're supposed to be with, which would be the true Three of Cups, okay? Because you've got the 5 and the 3, which is the 8. So the 8 also talks about the universe and talking about listening to the higher mind, which what you would have had through the 8 of Swords, meaning don't listen to the mind, because there's a lot of mind stuff, or people telling you no or yes or no or yes. It's not. It's always down to you. You would be the judgment call. You. It's your path, right? So you have to leave things behind. So then you've got the 8 of Cups, which is body, your feelings, your soul. So your soul, dark night of the soul will be called in a direction of going that way. So you have to release, let go, stop concentrating on what you might lose or what you might gain, or what you might lose or what you might gain. It's not. You have to go on that path in order to discover what that is for yourself, because it's about self-discovery. Self-discovery. You will only ever know the outcome of things in life when you do it for yourself. If you are very dependent and codependent on other people telling you yes or no, then it relates to people that are like still like children. But I wouldn't say children are watching this, and if you are, you probably shouldn't. It depends what goes on in people's lives. You know, when you're a tarot card reader, it's very difficult to just because you just read the energy. You don't read people's lives. People might say, yeah, this person's a complete, you know, then they are, or no, that this is to do with, you know, you can't blame people for moving on, is what I'm trying to say. You can't blame people for moving on, but there has definitely been like a loss of somebody, because this card to me, Judgment, is like heaven, you know, standing at the gates of heaven, of rebirth. So it would mean like loss. I'm trying to be more like, I don't really want to divulge into if you've lost someone, you know. I do obviously really apologise for that kind of thing. So let's see. So I'll do 2 more cards. I'm literally dripping with sweat. I'm sorry, it's so disgusting, but I am really dripping. So you've got the Queen of Pentacles. Queen of Pentacles. So it could be an earth sign, Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn. But this can be like mother kind of things, mother kind of stuff that's suffering. Like, or this could be a counter-dependency of like mother kind of stuff. But this can be like the child possible. For some people, like the mother is in like a kind of like a heartache of loss, shall we say. But you know, the Queen of Pentacles can talk about someone that's very soft and caring and nurturing, but there's been like obviously where someone just wants nurturing, but it's kind of like it's a definite codependency. It needs release. It does. There can be family issues to do with like, you know, mothering and like being smothered, because this can be like a smothering energy of like, no, I just need to not let you go. And it can be a pattern that someone's got where you can't seem to release yourself until you start to learn to release yourself, you know, because it really is kind of like, I go through lessons as well where it's kind of like a mothery kind of figure of like, I've got like oh God, I hate this. This can be like a, it depends on whether you're male or female, but it can be like problems with like women or problems with men in general. Problems with women or men in general for some reason. Or like mothers, or like, you know, destructive kind of way of with the mother or father. So, wow, so that's a child again. That's also children again, like leaving. It's kind of that way as how it's feeling. You've got a lot of like, if not, this is someone that does not know really like, or it's this can be someone new also, or people that are new, or these can start to be like messages. But this is like someone that can be watching someone that's moving on, like moving away, gathering information of like the dark night of the soul. So it's very strange. Yeah, so sorry about that, Scorpio. You probably don't want to watch the rest of this one, but I'm sure it gets better here. But we'll see as we go through. But the rest of it will be over on Patreon or within, and that's normally when the messages start to get better, because I'm going to clarify it with another deck. But you can join Patreon if you like, and it's the same. You can get access to everything through the month. And also when I start to do Twin Flame You versus them, I'm going to do that. Twin versus twin is pretty much what I'm going to do. But loads of different other things through the month, and they also will be put over on Patreon if you want to join that, and you will have access to all those still. If not, and you just want to watch the rest of this reading, this will be in your monthly folder and you get to see that. And then we'll go over what the rest of these cards here, clarify everything with another deck, and I'll see if I can kind of gain a little bit of balance with what's going on and give you some messages of whatever I can also channel. But I can never tell people what it's going to be like. Some have been some great lessons, some great things for advice for people to check up on through those the second parts of the reading when I can start to see and gauge the energy. But if you would like a personal reading also, and you would like it to range, because this might not even be you, you know, it really might not. The only way you really gauge that is to have a personal reading, and I'm going to start doing them via this. So if you want it via Skype or even a recorded reading, it will be pretty much the same as this, or it can be where you can just ask me questions through the camera, and then we can relate and we can talk, and then you can say, oh, that's that person, this and that, and then we can break it down. Okay, so I'm going to start opening those up. If you want one of those readings, the link's in the description for the email for just to send me one, but all the other links are in the description. And thanks, Scorpio, and let's see what's going to happen. Try and turn it around. Okay guys, all right, peace.